consciousness. You know that? Yeah? So we're going to stream Krishna consciousness. Yeah. It's stream of consciousness. It's postmodern. Wherever. Wherever. So we're going to stream Shastra. We're going to stream Krishna consciousness. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 10, Chapter 4, The Atrocities of King Kamsa, texts 28 and 29. Text 28. Shishuka Vacha Kamsa evam parasna bhayam vishudham pratibhasita devaki vasudeva bhyam anugyato vishad griham. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace. Shukadev Goswami continued, thus having been addressed in purity by Devaki and Vasudeva, who were very much appeased, Kamsa felt pleased, and with their permission, he entered his home. Text 29. Tasyam ratriam vyatitayam Kamsa ahuya matrina tebya achasta tad sarvam yaduktam yoga nidraya. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. After that night passed, Kamsa summoned his ministers and informed them of all that had been spoken by Yogamaya, who had revealed that he who was to slay Kamsa had already been born somewhere else. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Vedic scripture Chandi describes Maya, the energy of the Supreme Lord, as Nidra, Durga Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Nidra Rupena Samasthitaha. The energy of Yogamaya and Mahamaya keeps the living entities sleeping in this material world. Nidra means sleeping. So, Yogamaya, Durga, the goddess Durga, sleeping in this material world, in the great darkness of ignorance. Yogamaya, the goddess Durga, kept Kamsa in darkness about Krishna's birth and misled him to believe that his enemy Krishna had been born elsewhere. Krishna was born the son of Devaki, but according to the Lord's original plan, as prophesied to Brahma, he went to Vrindavan to give pleasure to Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and other intimate friends and devotees for 11 years. Then he would return to kill Kamsa. Because Kamsa did not know this, he believed that Yogamaya's statement that Krishna was born elsewhere, Yogamaya's statement that Krishna was born elsewhere, not of Devaki. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pustaya Putale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, all right. Here I am. I'm a substitute teacher today. This spot was originally reserved for a visiting Swami, visiting sannyasi, but somehow or other I'm here. But as Vaisheshika Prabhu spoke 2 days ago here in this temple room. He said, nobody feels right in the material world. Does anybody feel right in the material world? So nothing goes according to our plan. And my plan was to spend some time in Maya, then, chant some rounds in the morning so that I don't have to chant in the afternoon, that kind of thinking. But then when Krishna arranged it so wonderfully that I had to give class, then I took the precious morning hours to prepare. And I felt great. It felt good. When we surrender to Krishna's plan, it feels good. And it feels good because who is pleased? And Krishna is pleased. Yeah. When we align, Damodara Maharaj says, when we align our desires with Krishna desires, Krishna is pleased, and we are automatically pleased. And like I said, I saw Bhima Prabhu in my dream this morning. And Bhima Prabhu calls me Ken Clark because I look like this. Bhima Prabhu wanted to say I look like a nerd, but he said I look like Ken Clark. And so Ken Clark is this person here. This is Ken Clark. Like an office nerd, shirt, glasses.
It's
Ken
Clark Kent.
He had this spandex suit underneath his office outfit. And anytime there was a trouble, anytime he was called to help Haripush Prabhupada, you don't know who Ken Clark is?
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, yes, Clark Kent. Thank you.
Superman disguise.
Yes.
His whole disguise is glasses like him.
Yeah. So he has this nerd disguise, Ken Clark Kent. Oh, Ken Clark. What is it? Clark Kent. Yes, Clark Kent. So in the same way, when I saw Bhima Prabhu in my dream, I said, yes, I should meditate on Clark Kent, and I should put down all this office outfits that I have, and reveal my aspiring devotee nature. And we hope we're not qualified to speak. We're not qualified to be a substitute Bhagavatam speaker, but we pray that whatever we have to say in this class is pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, is in line with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and is pleasing to the Vaishnavas. And I sincerely beg your blessings so I can speak in a bona fide way, in a pleasing way. And please back me up. Back me up, Jai Jagannath Prabhu. I'm speaking to you. You're a resident Panditji. Thank you. Okay, so let's go. Kamsa. That sounded very intimidating, but I'm going to keep going. I have no choice. So in this verse, it's described how Kamsa, after speaking this Sankhya philosophy that you're not the body, everything is done by providence, and sometimes providence gets it wrong, in Kamsa's words. So it's okay, I understand that. This person was not born to you, Devaki and Vasudeva. He was born somewhere else, so no problem. And we're not the body anyways. And I apologize that I killed your children, but they suffered their own karma. And Jai Jagannath Prabhu described very wonderfully yesterday how if anything terrible happens in our life, we take it on ourselves as a result of our previous misdeeds. And he quoted Tate Nukampam Susamek Shamanu Bunjana Evatmam. I can sing it, but I can't chant it. Tate Anu. I need my guitar. I'll sing it, I promise. I know it by heart, and I'll sing it in my guitar. So if one is patiently suffering the results of his past misdeeds, all the while keeping his service going and offering respectful obeisances with his mind, speech, and body to the Lord, he becomes, liberation becomes his rightful claim. And there's another verse in the same vein. It says, Anastaprayeshu Badishu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloki Nityam Bhagavate Uttama Shloki, Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. It says, by regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the personality of Bhagavatam, to the devotees, everything that is troublesome to the heart becomes almost completely destroyed. And in the devotional service to the Lord, who is praised in transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. So everything that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed if we stick to devotional service, if we stick to sadhana bhakti that gives birth to Raganuga bhakti, right? Do I get it right? Jai Jagannath Prabhu. We stick to regulation, that Vaidhi bhakti, and then that gives birth eventually to spontaneous Raganuga bhakti, right? I hope I'm right. Yes, okay, gives me a smile. Right. So Kamsa, what did Kamsa do after this Sankhya philosophy? He went to his evil ministers and they advised him basically to become a baby killer and to kill all the infants that were taking birth in the area that was under Kamsa's rule. And that made me think that our association, who we offer our ear to, is very important. It's crucial. If we offer our ears to the evil ministers in our universe, because we're all rulers we're all sovereigns in our little universe, and we have ministers. And if we make our ministers, if we make Srila Prabhupada our minister, if we make Srimad Bhagavatam our minister, if we stick to devotional service, then we can be rest assured that we will not go in the wrong direction. But if we listen to evil people, then nothing good will come out of it. So Kamsa went to listen to his evil ministers. And look what came of it. He got killed. He decided to harass Brahmanas because his understanding was that since Vishnu lives in the heart of the Brahmana, since Vishnu is the recipient of the yajna, therefore we should interrupt yajna and undermine Vishnu. That's the demoniac thinking, to undermine Vishnu by disrupting the devotees. So we should be very careful about who we associate with. So Vaishnava association becomes very crucial. And Vaishnava association, what does that mean? What do we do when we are in devotees association? What do we do? There are six things. What do we do? Yeah, 6 loving exchanges. Yes. What are they? Edwin. English, please.
You want to repeat for the people online?
I can't repeat that. I don't know that. That was Sanskrit.
Offering charity, accepting.
So the 6 loving exchanges between the devotees, as Edwin Prabhu says, are 1.
Offering charitable gifts, accepting gifts and charity. Offering prasad, accepting prasad.
Yeah.
And burning one's heart and mind.
Inquiring confidentially, yes. So that's what we do. When we get together, we don't discuss, politics, who's getting elected, who's not getting elected, what happened here and there. We don't come up with solutions to all the problems. We engage in loving exchanges. We take prasadam, we feed each other, we spoon feed each other prasadam immediately. We give gifts. So Adipurusha Prabhu, he always carries some prasadam, some little bag of prasadam to give to a devotee. So this is what it is. We should be prepared to immediately engage in the 6 loving exchanges. Giving gifts, receiving gifts. That's also part of the service. Let's not get into this false humility, and let's be eagerly available to receiving gifts from the devotees. So revealing one's mind, inquiring in confidentiality, And this is an interesting one. It doesn't necessarily mean that we should, sometimes we can ask, how's your family? How's your health? That's also good. That's also counts. Srila Prabhupada did that. There was a home program that Srila Prabhupada spoke at, and the host of that meeting, he was I don't want to say a worldly man, but he was a family man, a friend of Krishna consciousness movement. And Srila Prabhupada spent an hour talking about his crops, talking about his economic situation, talking about his family. And then this devotee introduced to Srila Prabhupada his whole family. In India, families live together. And he said, this is my niece, this is my daughter, this is my son-in-law, this is this and that and the other. And then when everybody left, Srila Prabhupada said to the devotees, this is my sex life. So on the one hand, we understand how important it is to be real, to be personal to the people we talk to. We don't want to bypass them, but at the same time, we understand that it's all basically sex life. But that's internal. That's an internal joke, right? Don't try that at home. I was once in the car with Damodar Maharaj and I enjoyed Advaita Swami and Adipurusha Prabhu. So we were in the same car, and we were talking about Damodar Swami Maharaj asked me how my family was, and I immediately recalled that pastime. So basically, and I told, yes, I'm trying to keep Chinmay Radha happy. I'm doing my humble best. And he told me, yeah, you should take her out for a date. You should make sure she has enough saris and things like that. And then he was quiet for a second. And then he said, but at the same time, what Srila Prabhupada says about all that is true. I don't want to get any more specific, but so it's both. It's a Achinta Beda Beda Tattva thing. It's important to stay healthy. It's important to keep your wife happy. But at the same time, what Shastra says about the material world, what Srila Prabhupada teaches us about family life, relatives, and our worldly responsibilities, it's true. It's true. So it's both. So we talked about the 6 loving exchanges between the Vaishnavas. So Srila Prabhupada established this Krishna consciousness movement so that we can do what? Does anybody know the 7? I don't want you to tell me the 7 purposes of this. Give me one that I want to hear.
Come closer to the devotees.
Yes, for the devotees to get together. Let me read
Closer
that.
to Krishna and closer to each other.
Yes, closer to Krishna, closer to each other. Okay, number 3, purpose number 3, purposes of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, that Srila Prabhupada spent gallons of blood setting up for us. To bring the members of this society together with each other and nearer to Krishna. Vasudev Prabhu is near Krishna right now. We're all near Krishna. Arjuna Prabhu is near Krishna, and we're near Arjuna Prabhu. So we're serving the 3rd purpose of ISKCON. And thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large. Therefore, we have this live stream, humanity at large. We're talking about you, all the YouTube people, Zoom people, that each soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even this humanity at large is part and parcel of Krishna. How wonderful is Krishna? That we are part, and we're not Krishna, we're not the enjoyer, we're not here to control. We're here to serve and give. And we are made out of the same substance as Krishna. We're qualitatively are one with Krishna. But because we are supposed to engage in loving exchanges, exchange always takes at least 2. So we're separate in that sense. And then purpose number 6, it says to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simple and more natural way of life. So in the 7 purposes of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada says 2 times how important it is to get together. for the purpose of teaching a simple and more natural way of life. So we're also here to teach each other. Okay, let's move on. It's 7:43. I got two more minutes, and then we open it up for chastisements. Bhagavad Gita 10:9. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So we talked about how devotees, how everything that is troublesome to the heart becomes completely destroyed by regular attendance of classes. And now in the Bhagavad Gita, we read that the devotee derives great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. My sister once told me she was going through some things in her life, and then she told me, yeah, I got this thing going on that I have to deal with. But as soon as I sit down and as soon as the class begins, Jayarada Madhava begins, all my problems and difficulties and my things, my stuff, immediately gets shifted on the side, and everything immediately cools down. I can attest, I have the same experience every time Jai Jagannath Prabhu gives class. All my problems just go away. And I think, okay, I'll deal with that later, no problem right now. Let me guard myself.
Perspective.
Yeah. Perspective, Hari Pusha. It's not close enough.
Who says, if we don't hear sufficiently from Scripture, we will begin to imagine injustices. Interesting correlation. But when we hear from Krishna, how wonderful is Krishna, things come into perspective, like your sister was saying.
Yeah, perspective. There's no injustice. There's no injustice. It's all result of our past misdeeds. And if it happens, that's on us. And if something good happens, as we heard yesterday, that's the credit goes to Krishna. The credit goes to our Guru. The credit goes to the devotees. And this is 7:45. I open it up for questions. And I give priority to the live audience. Kishore Chandra Prabhu, tell us, reflect. What are your reflections? And please come closer. You can bring a chair.
There's 25 people in line. If you speak loud enough for them to hear, come close.
And you're a very eloquent speaker. I won't be able to repeat without butchering.
You can also just repeat it because no one practical for everyone to all the time come to the computer.
Okay. Okay.
And microphone. Now we're up. Put it on a list.
Okay, we'll arrange for a damn microphone next time. Arjuna Prabhu, thank you. Yes,
I was
Kishore.
just going to say the reflection I appreciate. I was a little in and out because I had some calls. But I appreciated this reflection that you shared about Prabhupada and kind of Prabhupada simultaneously promoting, like, take care of your family life, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it is what it is in a sense. And I think, you mentioning the Sachinte Veda Veda Tattva, it's kind of very nice to remember that, to not go off into any extreme. Because I think when we go off into the extremes of just getting really into the, family life, where it can be filled with anything, like you were saying, Maya, or going off into the other extreme of our supposed ideations of what spiritual life is supposed to look like, asceticism and like this. I was remembering at Raghunath's, what's it called, the rooftop event that he did this past weekend. Mother Malati was speaking, and she was speaking so nicely about her recollections of the first Rath Yatra. But something that really stuck in my mind was how she was saying, like, yeah, we used to live like we had this idea of what it looked like to be a devotee. And we used to live like with absolutely nothing in the apartment, just like completely bare bones. And she was like, because that's what we thought it was supposed to be. And so it's very nice to kind of find that gray space in between of like, you're doing a little bit of this, but you're also keeping the teachings of Bhagavatam very close to the heart. So this idea of not external renunciation, but internal renunciation.
Yeah. Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Was that audible, dear devotees? Krishna Das, did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I could make some 50% of it.
He said that it's not good to go into extremes and always keep the balance between being personal and being personal to others, to their sensitivities, to what they're going through, but at the same time, keeping it real and stick to the Shastra, which is very, very straightforward. It reminded me of what Kadambakana Maharaj once said. He said about keeping the balance. A little bit for Krishna and a little bit for me. A little bit for me, for my enjoyment, and a little bit for Krishna. Of course, it's a joke. So, yeah, a little bit for my own sense enjoyment, and a little bit for me, a little bit for Krishna. That's a one-liner that stuck to my mind from Kadambakana Maharaj. And so in response to that, we can say that we can do our humble best, trying to give everything to Krishna. And another thing that can be said in regards to a little bit for me, a little bit for Krishna, is that Krishna consciousness itself is very enjoyable. Who can deny? Look at Prasadam. Look at Kirtan. Did you go to the Kirtan Mela festival on Sunday? They were dancing. It was like a nightclub. But everybody was Krishna conscious. It was so beautiful. Everybody was jumping and they were throwing devotees up in the air. It was great. Everybody was sweating and the children were dancing in the back. Matajis were dancing, Prabhus were dancing, and then Kirtaniyas were, all the luminaries, all the what do you call it, stars, celebrities of our movement. This young generation, they're beautiful on the outside and they're beautiful within. It was such a feast to the eyes. So Krishna consciousness is enjoyable. It's not that we have to have a little bit of stinky materialistic sense enjoyment. Let's just dive in and it's enjoyable anyways. What do we have to lose? Vaisheshika Prabhu says, nobody feels right in the material world. It's not going to work anyways. Even that little bit that we try to save, put on the side. Gaurashan Prabhu said, do not cultivate your plant of illusion, your plant of material attachments by watering it in between your devotional service sessions. So what do? As soon as devotional service stops, what do you do when you go out of class? Where do you go? On the phone, checking the news? That's what I do sometimes. And immediately, Gaurashan Prabhu's mantra comes to mind. Don't water your din-dan plant in between devotional service. Okay, any further reflections? Adi?
But devotional service includes our needs.
Devotional service includes our needs. Yeah.
If we do what we do so that we can serve Krishna, then what we do, sleeping, whatever, so that I can serve Krishna, so that becomes devotional service. And in this story, we're thinking about what Kamsa did and what they said, and behind it all is the reason Krishna comes to this world, I'm here to glorify Krishna, is that he came to relieve the burden of the earth. So in these pastimes, little tricks and twists that Krishna does, he's provoking the demons. Like it's twisting the tiger's tail, so that they come to get him in Vrindavan, and then one by one he knocks them off. So Krishna has a plan. He's behind all these things that happen, so that he can carry out his purposes of rescuing the devotees from the burden of the earth. And it's kind of interesting to see how he does it, why he does it, and where this is all going. And behind it is how wonderful is Krishna.
Yes. Yes, Krishna is so wonderful that he will interfere. We may have our plan, but Krishna is so wonderful that he will interfere through the devotees, through situations, even through material, through an IRS agent, Krishna can interfere, and help us realize that we're not here to enjoy or control or to get everything figured out and enjoy. Krishna will help us, will give us a nudge, will push us out of our little bubble of our comfort zone. And that's his mercy. That's his causeless mercy. We want to stay in the bubble, but Krishna will push us out. And it's nice outside. As soon as we just, at least theoretically, understand that it's okay. It's okay when things are not going our way. It's okay when things aren't going our way. And then we practice it. It feels good. And Krishna is always there on the other end, always backs us up. Virabhadra Prabhu was saying that. We chant our rounds, we come to class, we do devotional service, we invest in our relationship with each other. We try to please our guru, we try to please Srila Prabhupada, we try to stick to our vows. And then when the dark day comes, Krishna will be there for us. Virabhadra Prabhu said it differently. He said, Krishna will not be there for us. It's all just, it's all a myth. We've done so much, and Krishna, he just doesn't care. When we need some help, Krishna won't be there for us. And it was just so clear, so vivid to me that yes, I'm sticking I'm doing my best to please my guru, to please the devotees, to stick to my commitments in Krishna consciousness. And Krishna will be there to back me up when I need it. And Krishna also will be there to wake me up when I'm too elated. When I'm, as Vaisheshika Prabhu says, kopin naleen, when I'm in a convertible car, enjoying the ride, thinking everything is good, Krishna will make sure my car will. Maybe there will be a bump on the road, or maybe a traffic agent or something. Tell us, what's your reflection, Shri Rup Charan? Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Kishore Chandra Prabhu.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you know if you're doing something for Krishna or if you're convincing yourself into thinking that you're doing something for Krishna?
That was my question yesterday for Jai Jagannath that he didn't answer. It was in the chat box. He didn't see. Yeah, that was my question. I don't know how to answer it. My question was how to distinguish between when I'm doing something stupid and when there's a lack of intelligence on my end. How to distinguish between this and Krishna's will. The short answer is Guru Sadhu Shastra. Obviously our reference points. Obviously. So Kishore Chandra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. Short answer.
Yeah, obviously, a person sincere enough to ask that question. That's the first step. I really want to know, is this what Krishna wants, or is this me convincing myself that this is what Krishna wants?
Yeah.
So the person has the sincerity to ask that question. And then, if you want the answer, Krishna is fully capable. You ask Krishna, put it before the Lord. Krishna is fully capable of answering, but why is it we can hear Krishna and why not? I don't know what Krishna is saying. What is the criteria? Do I have an attachment or an aversion? I want this answer. I don't want that answer. I want this answer. I want that. As long as we have an attachment, we will not hear Krishna. Not that he's not speaking, not that he can't speak, but we're blocking, right?
So by our attachments to a particular answer, we block the receptivity.
Krishna will ask the question, be fully confident Krishna will answer, and then be careful about our attachment and aversion. If I'm ready to do it or not do it, I'm really ready, right on the fence. The slightest little breeze from Krishna. Krishna will show us. He knows what he's doing. He's fully capable of reciprocating.
Jagannath.
I wanted to say that Rupa Goswami, in his final statement in the second chapter of the Nectar Devotion, he says, Krishna taught bhakta karunya, matra bhaika hetuka. That the exclusive cause of the attainment of raga is the mercy of Krishna or his bhaktas. But I've heard popularly in our sanghas the idea that vaidhi leads to Rag Bhakti, which you also said today in class, and you asked me to confirm it. I couldn't confirm because the statement came in my mind. So I wanted to hear devotees' understanding of that. Because if we're thinking like that, then we'll just go on doing Vaidhi. But the Rag may not come if the Rupa Goswami statement is true.
So, just to simplify what you so beautifully said, the spontaneous attraction to Krishna, we can develop that by the mercy of Krishna and the devotees, not by our regular following the Vaidhi. Okay. Yes. Good.
Roshan?
He said something very nice to me about this thing. Yeah.
Okay. In a generically speaking, a proper devotion service leads to more devotional service. So even if it starts with in a regulated way, if it is done with sincerity, as it naturally attracts mercy of Guru and Guru, Vaishnavas, and the Lord, and the devotional service increases. And surely, we can see our senior devotees, like there is an aspect of introspection and there is some gravity to a person's devotion service as they practice more and more. So those things naturally manifest, but there is also this popular thought of externally practicing Vaidhi, means like Raganuga sadhana also. So that part means with the permission of Guru, if there is any extra additions and all those things is done, I would say that is also good, externally adding. But in general, just by I'm not saying just it happens naturally without any effort, but any sincere devotional service leads to more deeper devotional service. So I would feel there is an self-sustainable aspect to bhakti itself in how it is done. But acharyas have given like roadmap of it. There, you're up to a certain level, you can also practice Raganuga sadhana. But if someone takes it up like immaturely and not even like keeping up the basics of etiquette, so then it will not anyway work. I'm not sure.
It's a big discussion because Vaidhi Bhakti leads to bhava of a particular type, and Raganuga Bhakti leads to bhava of another particular type. So that you do Bhakti, it gives more Bhakti, that is accepted. But what will be the flavor of the Bhakti depends on what type of sadhana you've done. So it is not the same, at least according to what we've heard.
That's why I said like you have to speak to your Guru.
What you said to me yesterday was there's not like lots of times people stress, and our son is stressed a lot on Vaidhi. But you said to me, your Vaidhi is so powerful that it can conquer Krishna. Like, no, it's just to show your sincerity to Krishna. That yes, I want to. You give the example of us that sadhu and Varsana with a stick and a tiger. And a stick can really not conquer a tiger or fight against a tiger. But it's just to say, they asked the sadhu, why? Why do you have a stick? What is that going to do? He said, I'm just showing Radharani that I'm trying. I really like that answer.
So that's our sadhana, right? Arjuna?
Vaidhi puts you in the light for the grace.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the angas of Vaidhi Bhakti are also the angas of Rag Bhakti. So that is another confusion. It's not that if you do Raganuga Bhakti now, the angas of Vaidhi Bhakti are out of the picture. The angas of Vaidhi Bhakti are also the angas of Raganuga Bhakti. So it's not like they're at odds in that sense. So Raganuga Sadhana also will put you in the light of grace. But it would be a different light of grace. Because Yayata Mamprapadente Tamsataya Rajamya. In accordance with the nature of your approach, Krishna is responsive to that. So not that I'm worshiping Krishna and Varahadev shows up. I worship Krishna and Krishna shows up because that's what I'm praying. That form manifests according to my meditation. So that's why I'm asking this particular question.
Again, I'm
Alright.
you surely like have to go to a spiritual master for everything.
All right. Arjuna Prabhu, any concluding remarks? Jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. The devotees at large Ki Jai. Thank you very much. Good seeing everybody. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow. Haribol from Clark Kent. Be a Clark Kent.
That's,